Welcome to Basic Brewing Video. I'm James Spencer.
I'm Steve Wilkes.
This is the first of 3 honey beers that we're going to taste today. You've heard of honey bear. This is honey beers.
Yeah.
So this is my my honey IPA that I brewed out on the hot porch.
Hot porch honey.
With Imperial Pog, which is Evergarden Kveik. It was the seasonal yeast this summer from Imperial.
Yeah.
And so I used local honey from our friend Caleb Hutcherson, who now, you know, we met him on the show a few years ago when he had a handful of beehives. He now has like 100 beehives, and he's looking to go commercial. So
wow,
it's a sweet success story, if you were, if you will, as you were. Okay. So what this beer is 8 gallons or 30 liters of water at 163 degrees Fahrenheit or 73 C. Into that I put 10 pounds or 4.5 kilograms of Pilsner malt, and that's the malt bill. Rested at 154 degrees Fahrenheit or 68 C for 90 minutes. Collected my wort and boiled for an hour. Didn't add any hops. Then I shut off the heat and I chilled down to 180 degrees Fahrenheit or 82 C. And at that point I added 6 ounce or 170 grams of Centennial at 10.4% alpha acid for a 20-minute hop stand. Oh, I forgot. After the hop stand, I added 3 pounds or 1.4 kilograms of the local honey from Caleb.
Okay.
So after that, I chilled down to 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 37 C, and I pitched A37 Pog from Imperial, which is a Kveik, and by the next morning it was pumping along like a steam train. And so a couple of days later, I brought it inside and I dry hopped with the same amount of hops, 6 ounces or 170 grams of Centennial. Dry hopped for 3 days. Start off at 1066, so this is another Battle of Hastings beer. 1066, final gravity 1008 for an ABV of 7.6%.
Shall I open?
Yes, please.
Nice little spritz there.
We came up with this recipe, Matt Giovanisi of Brew Cabin and Josh Secor of Gambit Brewing Company up in St. Paul, Minnesota. We came up with this together on an episode of Basic Brewing Radio. Oh, those glasses are nice.
Perfect. Yeah.
So, cheers.
Cheers.
We wanted a very light colored beer, and that's what we've got.
That's what you've got. It's very golden and just a little bit hazy.
Just a little bit.
Honey, I've missed you. I've been good though.
Honey, I drank the beer instead of honey, I shrank the kid. I can smell the honey, first of all. I can smell those Centennial hops.
He who smelt it dealt it. Yeah.
That's just dang good beer.
That's very, very nice.
Now, if you remember back the double IPA that I brewed a while back, I also added 6 ounces of hops post-boil and then dry hopped. The difference is that I added it right after the boil, so it was hotter at that time. This is a lower temperature. So, and I didn't do a bittering charge on this one. You remember the double IPA was pretty darn bitter because I did an ounce at Warrior at 60 minutes. So I think this is it's still got plenty of bitterness, but I think it's a more delicate or nuanced beer. It's not so much in your face.
There's just that really nice little honey hint in there. I get it's a little lemony too. A little bit of lemon, a little citrusy.
That may be the pog.
Maybe
the yeast coming through.
And the hops are beautiful. When you said 6 ounces, I was like, oh man. But no, it's very well balanced and bittered. You know, it's really good.
Ooh, I'm really getting, since you said that, I'm really getting the lemon. I just think it's dry, but it's not too dry.
Yeah.
You get the perception of sweetness from the honey, I think the honey really comes through. It's delicious, this local honey. And I think it's an interesting contrast to that double IPA, which was, just like kind of in your face with the bitterness. It wasn't too bitter, but it was really in your face and aggressive with the bitterness. This one, like I said, I think it has plenty of bitterness.
Yeah.
But I think that the flavor and aroma of the hops mixed with the honey, I think that really comes through well.
The honey comes through beautifully, I think. It's kind of just right. And this is one of those beers that normally I'll say, like, well, you wouldn't know it was there if you didn't tell you. This, I can really tell this is a honey beer. I mean, it's really there. And the honey notes that are left in it, well, it's just got that lovely floral character that honey can give you. And then, like you say, I think the yeast has a lot to do with the flavor characteristics of this beer as well.
And I really like Pog, the seasonal yeast from Imperial. When I went to get I didn't make a starter, but when I went to get the pouch from the refrigerator, it was puffed up a little bit, and I said, uh-oh, and I looked at the date, and it was like a little over 4 months old, which 4 months is the recommended shelf life for Imperial. But I was like, this is Kveik. Yeah. I think it's going to be just fine.
Yeah.
It didn't bubble before bedtime, but by breakfast time, it was like, it was really, really going, and just shot right through this beer. And it might have helped the flavor, making the yeast work a little harder to ferment the beer. I don't know.
Brought out a little more of the character of it. Well, it's delicious. This would be a beer I'd serve this at a fancy dinner.
Yeah.
I mean, this would pair so beautifully with Thai food or, well, you name it. I think it's a great pairing beer. Yeah. Congratulations. This is very good.
There you go. Try it, everybody. Get you some Kveik and some honey and a bunch of hops.
I just love a taste of honey. And whipped cream and other delights.
It's much sweeter than wine.
It's much sweeter than wine.
All right.
We're done now.
We're done. Cheers, everybody.
Come and visit us online at basicbrewing.com. You can find archive lists of our audio and video podcasts on homebrewing. You can also find our DVDs and our brewer's logbook, where you can track and log up to 50 batches of beer.
Dig back in your A&M Records collection with it.
I bought my parents that record for Christmas.
Just so you could have the album cover?
Well, it might look stupid, but